Welcome to session 7 of the module 4. In this session, I am giving a lecture about the sludge treatment. Means what about the before we go for sludge disposal, we are treating the sludge in a different way. So I am explaining the different methods of sludge treatment in this session. So sludge, usually sludge are the inorganic or inorganic in nature, organic or inorganic in nature. The sludge which is produced in the primary settling tank is called as primary sludge, and sludge which is produced in the secondary treatment plant is called as sludge or humus The sludges is not possible to dispose as it is, since it is contain the some amount of organic matter and all these things. Before we go for disposing this sludge, we treat the organic matter up to the required extent and remove the organic matter, and then only we dispose. Means there are different ways of disposing this sludge. So we may go for incineration, we may go for dilution, we may go for landfilling, whatever it may be. Since if we are not treat the sludge properly, it may leads to the health hazard and contaminate the water and all these things. Okay, so before we go for the this, what about the sludge treatment process and all these things? Sludge usually contains 0.25 to 12% of liquid portion or moisture content. So if the moisture content is more, then it is not easy to handle or transport the sludge from the point of generation to the disposal point and all these things. For that, before we go for the disposal of the sludge, we treat the sludge such a way that it is possible to reduce the moisture content and also reduce the amount of organic matter which are present in the particular one, and also it is not health hazard to the environment and human being as well as for plants. So the different process which are involved in the sludge treatment process are concentration thickness. The concentration thickness is one, and after that it is gravity thickening is there, centrifugation is there, floating thickness is there. The main aim of the concentration thickness is to remove the water content from the sludge as well as settlement of the settleable solids as well as suspended solids present in the particular one. In that particular one, we may go for gravity thickening, means thickness, the concentration of thickness may occur due to gravitational force and all these things. The centrifugal or floating thickness. Floating thickness is one, they allow the air with a high velocity. Then from that, it is possible to reduce the moisture content as well as the thickness of the thickening of the sludge will be takes place. Digestion. So it is also called as stabilization. Stabilization means decomposition of the organic matter which are present in the sludge. Even though you remove the organic matter up to some extent, still some percentage of organic matters are present in the sludge. So we remove the remaining amount of this organic matter which are existing in the sludge by the method of aerobic or anaerobic. Usually, the anaerobic process of decomposing or stabilizing the sludge is a very effective one, and also it is called as sludge digestion. Usually, in anaerobic way, it is very effective one when compared to the aerobic. Conditioning one is also one of the way of treating the sludge. Usually, where they may go for chemical conditioning. Chemical conditioning is one in which they are adding some of the chemicals to remove the moisture content from the solids. Okay, by adding the chemicals to the sludge, by that it is possible to reduce the moisture content which are present in the particular one. Heat process or heat treatment is one in which we mix the sludge or we allow the heat with temperature of 150 to 200 degrees centigrade with a high pressure through the sludge. Through this sludge, if we allow the heat with the high pressure as well as with high temperature, and automatically the moisture content which is present in the sludge is evaporated. By that, the thickness of the sludge is decreased and also the moisture content is removed. Dewatering. Dewatering is the process in which they remove the water from the sludge. Remove the water from the sludge. So once again, it is vacuum filtration is there, centrifugation is there, pressure filtration is there. Means the main purpose of introducing any system is to dewatering. Dewatering means a removal of moisture content which is present in the sludge. By that, the thickness of the sludge is reduced, as well as by that it is possible to reduce the concentration of the organic matters which are present in the particular one. Heat drying. Once again, the heat drying is the one of the way of treating the sludge. By that, we remove the moisture content on all these things. By so, heat is a source of energy. Heat is a source of energy. Incineration. Incineration is a process in which we go for treating the sludge with a high temperature. Incineration is one in which the mechanism, actual principle which is involved in that particular one is we are treating the sludge with a high temperature of, in some of the case, depending upon the type of generation, the temperature may vary from 600 to 1500 degrees centigrade. 600 to 500 degrees centigrade. Incineration is process in which we are incinerate or burn the sludge with a higher temperature. By that, we are reducing the total volume of the sludge. By reducing the total volume of the sludge, whether it may be multiple other incineration, fluidized bed incineration, flash combustion, whatever it may be, it is depending upon the what about the temperature at which they are maintained in the incineration. Sludge digestion process. Sludge digestion involves the treatment of highly concentrated organic waste in the absence of oxygen by anaerobic bacteria. It means it is anaerobic digestion only. The stabilization of the sludge by decomposing the organic matter under controlled and anaerobic condition is called as sludge digestion. Controlled condition means we are maintaining the required temperature, pH, organic loading, and inflow, and all these things. By that, it is possible to go for the stabilize the organic matter which are present in the sludge. So if you go for anaerobic digestion, it is very important to maintain the some of the parameters and controlled condition. Then only it is effective one. If you are not maintained the controlled condition, then it is not effective one. Stages of anaerobic sludge digestion. Stages of anaerobic sludge digestion is, here there are mainly two stages of anaerobic digestion will takes place. In the phase one, some of the bacteria which are present in the particular one is split up the complex organic matter, the two fats, carbohydrates, and all these things which are present in the organic matter into a simple form of acids, acetic acid, propionic acid, and all these things. At the same time, they may release or they may convert the complex form into a simple form of acids, as well as H2S, as CO2, as well as the H2O. So this phase is called as acid forming bacteria. These things is carried out by acid forming bacteria. And in the second stage, what happened? The acid formed by the acid forming bacteria is a main source for the methane forming bacteria. Methane forming bacteria. Methane forming bacteria are used the acids and all these things which are generated from the acid forming bacteria for their survival. Then they convert the acid form acids and all these things into a methane gas as well as CO2. Methane gas as well as CO2. This is called as methane forming bacteria. Means in an anaerobic condition, an anaerobic digestion will takes place in a two phase with the with one is acid forming bacteria, another one is methane forming bacteria. The combination of both are working properly, then only the anaerobic digestion system is very effective one. Anaerobic digestion system is very effective one. Otherwise, if you are not maintained properly, then it is not working properly. Once the acids are formed, automatically up to some then the pH of the solution is goes on reducing. Once the pH is goes on reducing, automatically the some of the microbes are survive or not survive in the lesser pH. Up to some pH, acidity goes on increasing. Some of the microbes are not survive in a less pH. So we maintain the pH of the system such a way that all the microbes are in a active condition. And also it is possible to maintain the temperature of the system such a way that the both mesophilic bacteria as well as the other mesophilic bacteria and all these things are survive in a good condition. Thermophilic bacteria as well as mesophilic bacteria are very effective in the particular one. The temperature increases, the rate of decomposition also increases in some of the case. due to the presence of the thermophilic bacteria. So we are maintain the required temperature to get the quality of the sludge or the efficiency of the system. So it is complicated process, requires many types of bacteria to cooperate in series. Means each bacteria are depending upon each other. If there is any variation in the percentage or what about the microbes present in that particular, then the system is not working effectively. The product of the one type of bacteria are used as a feed stock by the bacteria performing the next step in the chain. Means acid forming bacteria are producing the acetic acid and all these things. This is the source for the feedback feedstock for the methane forming bacteria. Okay, from the methane bacteria come finally it converts the complex organic matter into methane gas as well as humus. The series of conversion is divided into four stages. There are this anaerobic digestion which takes place mainly in the four stages. Mainly four four stages. Okay, first one is the hydrolysis, acidogenesis, acetogenesis, and methanogenesis. The flow chart which explains what are the different steps involved in the anaerobic digestion. Suspended organic matters which are present in the particular first undergo hydrolysis. Once they go hydrolysis, then it converted into soluble organics. Complex form is converted into soluble organics. The soluble organics are converted into volatile fatty acids, acetic acid, and all these things due to the acidogenics or the bacteria acid forming bacteria. Once it converts the complex form into volatile fatty acids due to the presence of the methanogenesis bacteria as well as acetogenesis is converted into acetic acid as well as H2CO2. Up to this process is due to the presence of acid forming bacteria. Once acids as well as H2 and CO2 produce, then it is converted into methane gas as well as CO2 by the methanogenesis, means methane forming bacteria. Methane forming bacteria. So each methane forming bacteria are depending upon the what about the acid forming bacteria. How they are convert the complex form into a simple form. On the basis of that, the efficiency is increased or performance goes on varying. The hydrolysis process transfers suspended solid matter into soluble organics. First step is carried out by the microbial activity. In the acidogenesis process, the soluble organics that were produced by the hydrolysis are transferred into volatile fatty acids, mostly C2, acetic acid, and all these things. The acidogenesis process, the volatile fatty acid is converted into acetic acid, propanolic acid, and also ethanol, and all these things. And methanogenesis, the acetic acid CO2H2 are converted into methane in the stable digestion process. Around 70% of the methanogenesis convert acetic acid into methane as well as CO2, as well as CO2. So this process is completed within depending upon the duration, time, and all these things. But the number of the factors which are influencing on the activity of the anaerobic digestion is mainly the temperature, pH, load of the system, detention time, and all this. All this. So, if you want to get a quality of the quality means to complete degradation of organic matter present in the sludge, we maintain the temperature at a particular temperature only. Since the thermophilic bacteria are very active at the higher temperature, thermophilic bacteria are very active at the higher temperature up to 55 degrees centigrade. Up to 55 degrees centigrade. If you are maintain the temperature is at higher end, then time required for the complete degradation is decreases. If the temperature is less, then time required for the complete degradation is more. Then temperature is less than 29 degrees, then usually mesophilic bacteria are very active. And also coming to the pH also. pH also. If the pH due to the acid forming bacteria, the pH of the solution goes on decreasing. If this goes on decreasing up below 1.2 or 2 to 3 pH, then the acidic range will affecting on the microbes which are present in that particular one and leads to the death. Once it leads to death, automatically the decomposition not completed. So we are supposed to maintain the required pH in the system. The main thing are taken into consideration when we go for digestion of the sludge is temperature as well as the pH. If you are not maintained properly, then efficiency of the particular system is decreases. The factor affecting on the sludge digestion: temperature. Rate of digestion is high at higher temperature. What I am explained in the earlier. Temperature is more, rate of degradation is also more. The thermophilic zone means thermophilic bacteria are very active in between 40 to 60 degrees centigrade. And mesophilic zone means mesophilic bacteria are very active in between 25 to 40 degree temperature. Therefore, temperature increases, rate of degradation is also increases. The pH value. The pH value of the sludge drop 5 and further bacterial action will be deteriorated if the pH of the tank in the correct value. Means we are maintain the pH of the system in a good condition such that the pH should not affecting on the microbes which are present in the particular one. If you are not maintained properly, then it is leads to the death of the microbes. By that, the efficiency of the treatment plant or efficiency of the digestion system is decreased. Seeding with the digested sludge. Seeding means before we go for the adding the sludge, we go for seeding. Seeding means adding some of the microbes into that particular to enhance the rate of degradation and all these things. It is done before we go for treating the sludge. Mixing and stirring of raw sludge with the digested sludge means if you are mixing the raw sludge with the digested sludge, then automatically the rate of degradation is increased. Since microbes are equally distributed throughout the system, by that the rate of degradation is affecting. By that the efficiency of the treatment may be increases. If you are not maintain these things properly, it may leads to an unhygienic condition. By that the odor may develop. This is achieved by steering in a proper rate using mechanical steering devices. Means if you want to go for mixing, you may go for mechanical devices for proper mixing. This is another flow chart which explains very easily, or it is very easy to understand what about the different steps which are involved in the anaerobic digestion. The organic matter is converted into H2S, CO2, and CH4 by acid forming bacteria. I'm saying the organic acids are produced due to the acid forming bacteria. This is converted into CH4 as well as CO2 by methane forming bacteria. Means for conversion of the complex form into a humus is carried out in a two stage. In first stage, acid forming bacteria converted into the acids. The particular acid is converted into the methane gas as well as CO2 in the methane forming bacteria. This is the degradation of the sludge will be take place in anaerobic condition by simple two stage. Types of anaerobic digester. The anaerobic digesters are two types. The figure which shows the standard rate sludge digester as well as high rate sludge digester. In high rate sludge digester, active mixing zone is there, but here there is active zone mixing is not proper, and also it is slow process. And also it is slow process. The main advantage of the anaerobic digestion is the gas which is produced by the complete degradation of the organic matter may used as a source of the fuel. Source of the fuel, methane gas is used as a source of a fuel. The best example for the anaerobic digestion is the gobar gas system. Gobar gas system, which is commonly adopted in the rural area, they are using the cow dung as the source of organic matter as sludge and mixing properly, and then it produces methane gas. The particular gas may be used for the cooking purpose or eating purpose and all these things. And also they go for solid waste disposal. If the organic matters concentration is more in the solid waste, then also they may go for anaerobic digestion. By that they may produce the methane gas, which is main source of energy. Main source of energy. The anaerobic digester are two types, standard rate and high rate. In the standard rate digestion process, the digester contents are usually unheated and unmixed. Means it is not heated as well as unmixed. If it is unmixed, the efficiency is usually it is less. The digestion period may vary from 30 to 60 days. Since it is not mixing properly, the rate of the degradation is less. By that, the period required for the complete degradation is more. In high-rate digestion process, the digester content are heated and completely mixed. The required detention time is 10 to 20. Means if you want to reduce the detention time. So we go for complete mixing process. So anaerobic digestion, anaerobic sludge digestion, this figure which shows the what about the anaerobic sludge digestion system. It is adopted when they go for treating the sludge which is produced by primary treatment or secondary treatment and all these things. Okay, design consideration. So before we go for design of a size, usually it is circular in nature and also dome shape and also dome shape. At the bottom there is a topping is there. At the top it is curvature is there for collection of the gas and all these things. The cylindrical shaped tanks with the dia range from 3 to 12 meter. Hopper bottom of slope 1:3 for collection of the treated sludge. Generally, digesters are designed to treat for a capacity up to 10 mld. The tank size are not less than 6 meter dia and not more than 35 meter in dia. The liquid depth may be 4.5 to 6 meter and not greater than 9 meter. The capacity of the digestion tank can be found out by V1 plus V2 into xt by 2, where V is the volume of the digester. It is very important when we go for find out the what about the total volume of the digester required for the sludge digestion. V1 is the raw sludge added per day in terms of meter cube per day. V2 is the equivalent digested sludge produced per day on the completion of the digestion. T is the digestion period. On the basis of that, it is possible to find out the what about the total capacity of the digestion tank. Gas collection. The amount, and I am already explained the thing, gas which is produced due to the anaerobic digestion is methane gas, which is highly inflammable and also it is a main source of energy for cooking purpose or eating purpose and all these things. The amount of sludge gas produced varies from 0.014 to 0.08 meter cube per capita, depending upon the organic matter present in the particular one. Okay, the sludge gas is normally composed of 65% of methane gas and 30% of carbon dioxide and remaining 5% of nitrogen. So here the composition of the methane is more than 65%. That's why it is highly inflammable and used as a source of energy. And other inert gases with calorific value is 5,400 to 5,850 kilocalories per meter cube. Since by dewatering or by treating the sludge, it is possible to increase the calorific value of the sludge also. If the caloric value of sludge increases, the energy produced by that particular in the incineration and all this is increase. Sludge dewatering. It is a physical unit operation used to reduce the moisture content of the sludge and thus increase the solid concentration. Means dewatering is the process in which we are removing the water from the sludge or removing the moisture content from the sludge. By removing the water content from the sludge, it is possible to reduce the volume and also it is easy to handle and all these things. Purpose of dewatering: reduce the cost of disposal. Since if it is contains moisture and all these things, weight of that particular is too high, it is very difficult to dispose. If you are reducing the moisture content, then volume is decreased as well as easy to handle and all these things and easy to dispose. So easy of handling. If the moisture content is less, then they convert the sludge into a cake forms. Sorry, sludge cakes. Then if it is in the form of sludge cake, then it is easy to handle. Increase the calorific value of sludge means burning characteristic. Calorific value is expressed the burning capacity of the sludge. The burning capacity of sludge is increased due to the reducing the moisture content and also it contains organic and inorganic matter, so calorific value may be high. Reduce odor. Definitely, if there is organic matter, definitely degradation takes place, then it leads to the odor problem. But if complete degradation of the organic matter which are present in the sludge is done properly, then automatically, even though you convert this one in terms of sludge case, it is not leads to any odor problem. Reduce leachate produced at the landfill site means the landfilling is one of the way of disposing the sludge produced. So if you are not treating the sludge properly, if you are not removing the organic matter which are present in the sludge properly and dispose to the landfill is one way of disposing the sludge in which what they go for, just they add the sludge to the land by scientific way. by scientific way. Once they dispose the sludge to the land, automatically if there is any rain occurs, it infiltrates through the soil and finally it is come in contact with the sludge. Since sludge contains organic and inorganic matter and water come in contact with that particular one, then it forms a black, water, black or this or black thing. It is called as leachate. Black water content which is called as leachate, which contains organics and inorganic in nature. Dark black water, it is called as leachate. It is highly, total solids is more, concentration is more, suspended solids is more. So once it is forms leachate, automatically it's percolate through the soil. Finally, it may reach the underground source. By that, it may contaminate the groundwater source also. Groundwater source also. One of the main thing we are taken to consideration, care taken in the landfilling site is to avoid the formation of the leachate. Avoid the formation of the leachate. So some of the MCQs related to sludge digestion is as follows. Sludge is composed of liquid components alone. No, it contains solids, the suspended solids, organic, inorganic, and all these things. How many types of sludge are present? Usually, two types of the sludge are present. Dash is the term used for reuse of sewage sludge. It is biosolids. It's called as biosolids. Biosolids are the inorganic waste solids. It is false. It is contains organic as well as inorganics. Who introduced the term biosolids? It is introduced by WEF. Which year was the term biosolids introduced? It is introduced in the year 1998. Sludge treatment reduces the formation of straw scale in the pipes. It is true. Which of the which of these is not a method of digestion? It is evaporation is not a method of digestion. Anaerobic digestion is carried out in the absence of oxygen. What is the temperature to be maintained for thermophilic digestion or for thermophilic activity, thermophilic bacteria? It is around 55 degree. What is the duration of sludge in tanks for mesophilic anaerobic digestion? It is 12 days. Which of the following is not produced of anaerobic digestion? Oxygen is not produced. Usually water, carbon dioxide as well as methane is produced in that particular system. Which of the following is an advantage of anaerobic digestion? It is methane generation. It is a source of energy. Source of energy. Anaerobic digester should have a volatile acids to alkalinity ratio of, it is 1:10. Thank you.